Across Europe, a once taboo topic is now front and center: nuclear deterrence. For decades, the mere mention of nuclear weapons sparked discomfort and debate. But today, the conversation is impossible to avoid. The continent finds itself at a crossroads, forced to reconsider its security assumptions in a rapidly changing world. French President Emmanuel Macron has launched a bold debate responding to Russia's invasion of Ukraine and renewed nuclear threats from Moscow. Macron's words have echoed across capitals, igniting discussions not just among politicians, but also among ordinary citizens who now wonder what the future holds for their safety and sovereignty. The old security order is gone. Europe must now confront the reality that its peace is fragile and its defense uncertain. The memories of the Cold War, once thought to be relics of the past, are resurfacing as Europe faces new and unpredictable threats on its doorstep. Macron's initiative challenges decades of reliance on NATO and the US nuclear umbrella, urging Europeans to consider their own role in deterrence. For years, Europe has depended on transatlantic alliances for protection, but the shifting geopolitical landscape demands a fresh look at self-reliance and collective responsibility. This isn't about building a European nuclear superpower, but about honest dialogue among EU states on shared security in a world where nuclear blackmail is back. Leaders must weigh the risks and responsibilities, balancing national interests with the need for unity and trust among neighbors. The war in Ukraine and Russia's aggressive posture have shattered old certainties, making this debate urgent and unavoidable. The images of conflict and devastation serve as a stark reminder that peace cannot be taken for granted, and that Europe must adapt to protect its people. France's call is a test of Europe's maturity. Can it face hard truths and take responsibility for its own survival? The choices made now will reveal whether Europe is ready to step up, confront uncomfortable realities, and forge a path toward greater security and independence. The answers will shape Europe's place in a more dangerous world. As dawn breaks over the continent, the decisions made in the coming months and years will determine not just Europe's security, but its identity and role on the global stage. France's force de frappe stands alone in the EU, a legacy of de Gaulle's belief in strategic independence. Unlike the UK's arsenal, France's nuclear weapons are under the exclusive command of its president, ensuring total national control. The deterrent is dual submarines patrol unseen, guaranteeing a second strike, while Rafale jets carry air-launched missiles. This structure ensures no adversary can risk a first strike without catastrophic consequences. France's nuclear independence, born from Cold War fears, now places it at the center of Europe's security debate. Macron's proposal isn't to replace NATO, but to extend France's tradition of self-reliance to a broader European conversation. The force de frappe is the tool that makes this possible. Macron's timing is no accident. He has chosen this moment with great care, fully aware of the shifting geopolitical landscape and the urgency of the challenges facing Europe today. Russia's brutal war on Ukraine, combined with its escalating nuclear threats, has shattered any lingering illusions of safety that Europeans may have held since the end of the Cold War. Moscow's aggressive nuclear rhetoric is not just bluster. It's a calculated move to intimidate, to sow fear, and to limit Western support for Kyiv. This strategy deliberately revives the anxieties of the Cold War era, reminding Europe of the ever-present danger just beyond its borders. At the same time, doubts about America's long-term commitment to Europe's defense have grown louder. With shifting US politics and global priorities, European leaders are being forced to seriously consider what happens if the US steps back from its traditional security role. Macron's call is a direct response to this perfect storm: Russian aggression, nuclear blackmail, and a new wave of transatlantic uncertainty. He is urging Europe to wake up to the reality that the old security guarantees can no longer be taken for granted. Europe can no longer afford to be a passive consumer of security provided by others. It must learn to think and act strategically, taking responsibility for its own defense and future. The debate is no longer theoretical. It's about survival in a world where nuclear threats are not just distant memories, but real and immediate dangers that could shape the continent's fate. Europe must now ask itself a difficult question. What does true security look like if it must stand more on its own? The answer will define the continent's future for generations to come. Macron's vision of strategic autonomy is about Europe acting independently when needed, not rejecting NATO, but strengthening itself. The war in Ukraine exposed Europe's military gaps and dependence on US support, sparking new defense investments and cooperation. Strategic autonomy now means more than French theory. It's a practical necessity for the continent. In nuclear terms, it raises a hard question: should Europe's ultimate security depend solely on Washington's decisions? Macron urges a shared European conversation about deterrence, culture, and the role of France's arsenal. This is the toughest test of autonomy. Can Europe take charge of its own ultimate defense? The answer will define its future. Macron isn't offering to share France's nuclear weapons or create an EU nuclear command. The French deterrent remains under the president's sole authority, non-negotiable. What's on the table is deeper consultation, structured dialogue with EU partners about the role of France's arsenal in Europe's security. This could mean briefings, joint exercises, and strategic discussions to build a common understanding of deterrence. The goal is transparency and confidence building, not shared control. France signals that an attack on an EU member could affect its vital interests, making its deterrent relevant for all. This approach adds ambiguity for adversaries and strengthens collective security without changing French command. Russia's invasion and nuclear threats have revived existential fears in Europe, dormant since the Cold War. Defense budgets once shrank, but now leaders and citizens confront the reality that nuclear weapons remain central to security. Moscow uses nuclear threats to shield its aggression and deter Western intervention, creating constant tension. Eastern states like Poland demand stronger NATO guarantees, while Western Europe re-examines deterrence and escalation. Macron's initiative is part of this renewed focus. Europe can't afford ignorance about nuclear risks. The war has forced a new generation to study deterrence, signaling, and brinkmanship. Europe must develop its own expertise and shared understanding of the threat. Nuclear anxiety is back, and Europe must respond with knowledge and strategy. For most Europeans, NATO remains the foundation of security, with the US nuclear umbrella as the ultimate guarantee. Macron's vision isn't to replace NATO, but to complement it. Two pillars supporting the same transatlantic structure. A stronger, more capable Europe makes the alliance more resilient, not less. France's deterrent adds a specifically European layer, complicating any adversary's calculations. Relying on a single guarantor is risky. A defined French role offers extra insurance. The debate is about integration, not competition, making Euro-Atlantic security stronger together. France seeks to reinforce, not divide, the alliance. Macron's call for a new European security approach has split the continent, revealing deep and long-standing differences in strategic culture, national interests, and historical experience. While some leaders see an opportunity for Europe to assert itself, others worry about the risks of diverging from established alliances. Some nations, especially those aligned with France or strongly committed to deeper EU integration, cautiously welcome the debate. For them, the conversation is overdue, a chance to rethink Europe's role in a changing world and to take more responsibility for its own defense. Central and Eastern European states, haunted by memories of Russian aggression, see the US security guarantee as irreplaceable. They worry that even discussing a European nuclear role could undermine NATO's unity and weaken the American commitment that they view as essential for their safety. Neutral EU members, with a strong focus on non-proliferation and diplomatic solutions, find the discussion politically and morally difficult. For them, any move toward nuclear armament challenges their core values and long-standing policies. Germany, which has long relied on the US nuclear umbrella and remains deeply wary of nuclear weapons, is now rethinking its stance in the wake of the Ukraine war. Yet, despite growing debate, Berlin remains cautious, balancing public skepticism with new security realities. These divisions, rooted in history, geography, and national identity, make forging a unified EU position elusive and complex. The outcome of this debate may ultimately hinge on whether Berlin, Europe's largest economy and political heavyweight, moves from its current ambivalence to active support for a new security doctrine. Europe's diversity of perspectives, histories, and ambitions is both its greatest strength and its most significant challenge as it seeks to forge a new, shared security consensus for the future. France's initiative isn't about immediate change, but starting a long-term strategic conversation. The goal, a shared European understanding of nuclear threats and deterrence, without undermining NATO. Success depends on trust, careful diplomacy, and constant reassurance to exposed allies. Europe faces a choice: complacency or preparedness in a world where peace is no longer guaranteed. The path forward is balance, strengthening Europe's own defense while preserving transatlantic unity. The nuclear debate is the hardest part, but also the most necessary. Engaging in it shows Europe's maturity and resolve. Security must be actively built through dialogue, deterrence, and unity.